Yeah, welcome to Coffee and Cannabis. I'm your host, Alyza, and this is
Corey, what up?
And today, listen, it's time to talk about what is going on in Hoboken. And while we do that, we have Max here from Blue Violets. Please give it up. So, of course, before we get into it, right, we have our coffee, but we got a little surprise for you now. Boom. Branded cups, because you know how we get down. So K1 has supplied the coffee. Thank you, as always, our neighbors for showing us love. And Corey, what are we smoking on?
Mandarin Zettles.
Mandarin.
You see the fucking cup.
So, Max, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being willing to share the experience that you're going through in real time.
Yes.
A lot of times people in cannabis, and this is a gripe that I've had for a little while. I mean, just personal, but you know, when the state passed it in 2021, and a lot of folks wanted to get involved, people were sort of like doing this on the low, right? They didn't want to put their brand out there because they didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Are they going to get the license? Am I not going to get the license? Am I going to come up with the funding? So a lot of people are either just starting their brand right now while they're getting closer to the finish line, or they're really waiting until they open their doors. Yeah. I personally think that that's going to make people be a little bit behind. But here you are, ready to no, I can't keep operating in the shadows. Like, people need to know what is going on in this experience that I'm having.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's time to start telling our story, because for a long time we've been quiet about it. Yeah. For a little bit, we were very loud about it because this is the second time we've had to go through this stuff with Hoboken. But now that we've gotten through this period, we just lost a lawsuit against us, so we have to really start sharing our experience and telling people about what's going on in Hoboken, because it's just not right.
All right, so before we get into the story, I do want to learn a little bit more about you. I know that you are an attorney by trade and you do practice still,
yes.
right? And you are representing your own dispensary.
Yes.
Your wife, which you do identify as a minority-owned business,
yes.
right? Your wife, who is Asian American,
yes,
right?
Chinese,
she's a nurse, and you guys are obviously a badass power couple that is from Hudson County, and you decided nursing, attorney. No, we're gonna get into this weed business.
Yeah, something like that.
Where did that come from? I'm sure a lot of people are curious. Like, obviously professionals, well-to-do. Why get into weed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it really came from just our own experience. We are both cannabis consumers.
Okay.
We're both medical patients in the state, but also just enjoy cannabis. And so for a little while, after we had gotten married in 2017, we just were doing a lot of travel, and we're using our medical cards to experience industries just across the country, and just enjoying those cities and enjoying those states, but also enjoying some cannabis and learning a lot about the industry, just because we enjoyed it, like just consumers. And when Jersey legalized, it was right around COVID, right? The referendum was 2020. And Lauren and I, were doing well in our careers, but we were, things were just kind of put on pause with COVID. Lauren's nursing career had a weird path at that point. I was working from home for the first time, and we were on a vacation in the Berkshires, and we were just chilling, smoking some weed. It was late in the evening, and I knew the referendum was going to pass. This was October. This is for our anniversary in October. And I was like, we should look into this. We thought about getting into a business before. We thought about getting a bubble tea business before. We thought about doing daycare for Lauren, because she's great with kids. And we had the money at the time, so we were thinking about buying a house. But with COVID, that got put on pause. So we were we got the savings. I clearly didn't know how much we'd actually need.
You thought you had
I thought we had the savings.
Thought you had them.
And we I was let's just take it one step at a time. I mean, the biggest asset I think we have is my legal knowledge, because I am a regulatory attorney by trade. And so it gave us a chance to start testing the waters. Corey's dying.
Every episode. Never fails.
You good?
You see that I'm just so into your story. I'm not even making
It's okay. I'm sorry.
This is my life.
So I just figured, I can do the research. I can see what's going on. I can track the law, and just start talking to people and see what we can do. And so that's how we got into it. I mean, now that it's been 3 years on from that now, and it's just been a journey. So I can't say that we knew it was going to be like this, but at the time, maybe a little naivety, just positivity, because we just thought it was a cool industry, and let's see if we can do it. That's it.
So, again, the story's got a lot behind it, but I do think that there's some things that I want to help clarify for people that don't always know about these companies that are coming to the forefront.
Yeah.
Like sometimes there's a lot of times where people are using people from disadvantaged backgrounds, right? Whether that be being a woman,
Yeah.
being a veteran, minority, whatever it is, to try to get ahead of
Yes.
this process.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's probably a consideration or something that you've heard being
Yes.
said about you or maybe insinuated.
Yes.
So I think it's really important to know that, like, you guys are a married couple. You've been together for how long?
15 years we just passed.
15 years.
Married since 2017.
Congratulations.
So. Yep.
And survived COVID together married. So that's an accomplishment.
While working
Listen,
from
that-
home.
That is the thing. Listen, a lot of y'all didn't make it.
Some of y'all did not make it.
Some of y'all found out how you really feel about each other during COVID.
So I think that that's really important. How do you feel about that? Because when we talk about Hoboken, we'll jump in a little bit, but we were in that and we saw that. Did you see that happen in that city?
Yes. I mean, I can't believe we even made it as far as we have, just being a small business. But yeah, without a doubt, like, there's connections that just are not, it's not what the state wants these cities to consider. That's some of the things that they're considering are not what the state wants, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, a lot of people, some people are getting in using that tactic. Some people in the community are seeing through it, which in Hoboken, I think we saw a little bit of that.
Yes.
There was a couple that got caught
I
out
remember.
there, but
Yep.
then there's some that didn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you know what this actually means? Right? So a lot of times in cannabis, when they're making these ordinances and they're making these laws, they don't actually know what that means. So what made you decide to go micro?
Yeah, the micro decision was not something we actually really had the ability to pursue. Like, we knew that if we could get it, it'd be great. But to be a micro, you need to be in a city that's contiguous to the one that you live in, right? Or at least more than half of your people need to be in the city. Oh no, I think actually you do need to be an owner. You need to be like next to the city you want to actually set into or be in your own city. You need to be a small space. And those are the main requirements. And so we were looking at spaces that didn't necessarily qualify for that, knowing that the micro would give us the benefit. But it was like, if we can't find a space at all,
Right.
it doesn't matter if we can be micro or not. Like, we got to find a space. Right. We found this space. It was less than 2,500 square feet, I think, is the limit for micros. And we thought, wow, it's next to us in Hoboken. We can actually be a micro. It's huge. And that actually did help us, especially at the state level for our application. I actually had to tell the town, I had to tell Hoboken about what a micro license was. They were not familiar, and like that it's supposed to get priority, and that you have to actually account for this. And there's still some ways that they haven't done that. The license fee for a normal retail in Hoboken and a micro is exactly the same.
Really?
Still, yeah. So I'm sure we'll be addressing that when that comes up. But things like that, there's still a lot of work to do there. But the decision to get micro for us, it was always on our radar, but we knew it depended on the space that we found. And we honestly just got lucky that we found the space we found in Hoboken.
Let's be honest. What do we think the real problem is here? Like, from a municipal level, because you just explained how they didn't even know what a micro license is. Like, what is the real problem here? Just like a educational deficit?
I think so. That's a big piece of it.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of education that still needs to happen. I think I saw this, so in my own career, I went through kind of a similar phase with cryptocurrency. I was in an area I was in my day job as a lawyer, and what you see is a lot of people jumping into that industry claiming to be experts because they've tangentially touched it, right? Or they've had a little bit of familiarity, but reality they're not. And the people who are judging them to be experts, they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. So they think you're an expert because you're telling them you're an expert, but you're not really an expert. I'm not a fucking expert. Sorry, can I curse on this?
Yep.
Okay. I'm not an expert.
I couldn't be here.
But I do know what I don't know. And generally, I'm pretty good at like looking to people to understand new things. But I think a lot of these towns, and not just Hoboken, they got themselves into situations because the state said, figure it out on your own. And the people who said they were experts, they may not have actually been experts.
No, yeah, I'm saying, well, part of it is, and this goes for every municipality and the people on the state level, when one of them actually says they're a regular cannabis user or worked in the cannabis industry, by the way, that will never happen because none of them are. So how are you the judge and jury on it? You're the judge and jury of a new industry that's so new most people aren't in it.
Yep.
You're definitely not in it.
Yep.
And you can't even legally admit that you use it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So fuck are you judging? Like who are you? Like, I'm sorry, people hate MSOs.
Yep.
the politicians hate legacy, but those are the only motherfuckers that actually do this, right?
So true.
All the people that they're like, yo, keep them away. No, we down with the MSOs. Oh, we don't want to support Trenton Weedman. Da 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 da. Those are the only people.
Those are the people you want.
Trenton Weedman should have been the chairman of the CRC.
Hell yeah.
He the only person in New Jersey that's been running a successful dispensary.
And loudly.
Right?
Yeah.
Going to jail, everything. Like, you guys support your weed man. Right? He's the most knowledgeable dispensary owner in the state of New Jersey. All other 57, whatever the fuck it is, dispensaries in the state, none of y'all know as much as Trenton Weedman.
Damn straight.
And he been running that shit from like literally across from the state capitol.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
So that's a big
right.
thing, right?
Hilarious.
So like, it's just interesting, and whether it's Hoboken, the state, or whoever, none of you motherfuckers know shit. You haven't worked in the industry. You at least can't claim that you smoke weed. You haven't ran a dispensary.
Yes.
Right? You legally can't have any money in any of the part of the industry in the state.
Yes.
I'm saying a lot of your wives just got licenses. I'm just going to say that. It's a lot of wives, a lot of brothers. If you think I'm full of shit, I can name some of you motherfuckers. But a lot of y'all family members got retail licenses and shit, or grow licenses that y'all don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I seen it.
But y'all don't know shit about the industry.
Yeah.
The reality is New Jersey laws are 70% the Maryland state laws.
That's right. Yeah.
It's blatantly copied off of Maryland.
Yes.
And even though they did a good job with the unveiling, and I can only say that because we're right next to New York, who's fucking abomination.
Dumpster fire, yeah.
Y'all motherfuckers still don't know shit.
Yeah. And it's not even just the professionals, right? It's also, I mean, it's the professionals, it's the elected officials who can't seem to communicate to the people that are upset about this.
Yeah.
We get it. There was always going to be people in any community that were going to have a problem with this. Always.
Of course.
And it might be the 12 people that have been chasing us. It's less. The 6 people that have been chasing us this whole time. Really the one person. Or it might be a bigger group of people. But at the end of the day, if your city really supported this. Hoboken supported this overwhelmingly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they didn't support like our dispensary specifically. But when you have, 84% of the city said yes to the referendum, you got to assume that they're overwhelmingly in favor of this and probably don't care too much about where their stores are going to set up shop. And so if you're an elected official, I think it's incumbent upon you to explain to the people who are upset, like, this is why this isn't a problem, and we can figure something out. Unfortunately for Hoboken, some of the officials took a different tact, and they decided to go all in favor of the few people that were chasing us. And now that the results of that have become clear, like we lost our approval, they're seeing the results, which is people who were silent about it because this has already been approved. Now they're overwhelmingly upset and angry and letting their voices be heard. So.
Yeah, I'm saying, well, what's that main little strip in Hoboken?
Washington Street. That's where we're at.
All right.
Yep.
So, like, peep game. How does Hoboken have any law that prohibits distance between dispensaries? Anyone that's been to Washington Street, like, if the amount of debaucherous ass clubs that they got in 2-block radius can be there, why can't 2 dispensaries? Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Like, at least that's like saying they're mad at you for opening up a bar on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Like, are we serious? Like, what are we talking about? No. I've seen a motherfucker do a bump right on a bench on Washington Street. Yeah. Like, so why are we talking about the distance between dispensaries? Yeah. Let alone, Alyza told me to be nice because we got history with Hoboken.
Just spill the tea, man. I'm here for it.
I'm just saying, half of these municipalities are full of shit when they talk about what they want their dispensary owners to be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be minority owned, woman owned. We want it to be local. All this different shit. Well, how are the MSOs in your towns?
Yeah, that's right.
Or even the lower level MSOs, not the big names, but there's the multi-state dispensary companies.
Or celebrity-owned ones.
Yeah, celebrity-owned ones, or the big name ones that come from other states.
Yep.
They're in your town, but you want to be local, right? The person that's speaking at your board meeting, hearings, and all that is the celebrity person, not a local, which means your business is not local.
Yep.
Right? So it's like, but if we ask you, what are you guys standing on for how you're doing your licenses, you'd be like, local.
Yeah. You would think they would prioritize that.
Yeah, they wouldn't even talk to us, and we got mad connections to Hoboken. So it's just funny.
Yes, I have tried to do a tremendous amount for Hoboken. I think my biggest issue here is I just want people to start being honest with themselves. Like, I don't care what direction that you say you feel, just don't lie about it. Just be real. Like, I'm a very, like, sometimes people call me abrasive, but it's like, but you know that I'm never going to lie to you.
Sure.
Right? So if you don't want weed, just fucking say, actually, we opted in.
Right.
We saw what this looked like.
Right.
It's not for us. This is our decision. Done and done. But you're doing things that are saying that you like first off, the people are saying that they want it in their city. It's the majority. 80% is a majority.
It's the majority.
Done.
Yes.
The people are saying that they want it. We're micro and we're more local, so you know that there's like a story behind it.
Yes.
And it's also going to bring tax revenue, which is the reason why you probably said yes in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the amount of money that Hoboken's going to make off of us is a ton, let alone the other dispensaries, which are all larger than us, right? So there's a huge amount of revenue on the table. And not even just that, like, we are the only dispensary that this process has been going on since early last year. February 2022 is when this all kicked off. But we are the only one of all the 6 that are, there's the cap now, 6 in Hoboken, that have actually been going out and engaging with the community.
Yeah.
And actually talking about this.
Yeah, a lot of folks are not doing that.
In front of our store, at the council meetings, everywhere we can, online, over email, because we know first of all, it's important to us to get the message out about what's been happening, but also because, like, this is where we want to be. We want to set up shop here and, like, be a part of this community. Yep. None of these other stores have done that. And I think it just speaks volumes. It's like, there's tons of problems going on here. You guys are just all communicating in these channels that aren't even public. And it really, it makes me question, like, what does Hoboken, what do all these cities want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no one is operating on integrity, and that's number one, right?
Listen, y'all, they giving y'all all these problems, and they let Harmony in there. And Harmony not even in business no more.
No, I know.
I'm just saying.
I know.
The math don't math.
I know. And they let them sit on that spot for 2 years.
That part.
And that
part.
spot is the
And
reason
lock
why
out-
we are not here.
And locked out other people from
Yes.
getting their locations because Harmony owned their spot and didn't do shit.
Yes, and that is why we were not there.
And we're not
And-
even going to get into what the people at Harmony were doing. Anyway, with said funds.
Oh, yeah.
Hoboken makes me sad because it is a beautiful city. It is where my wife is from, and it is one of the places where her and I spent a lot of time. I used to back in the day. I used to work at Foot Locker on Washington Street.
Nice.
Yep, that doesn't even exist anymore. It's
Right.
like a quality sweet green. I don't know, quality something.
Yeah.
Restaurant. I used to go to One Republic, that's now Mad Hatter, and be a degenerate every Sunday after my shift. Like, I have so much love there. And the one thing that I've always loved about Jersey City and Hoboken is that it's largely small businesses.
Yes.
There's not a lot of chains in those cities.
That's changing. For Hoboken, at least, that's changing.
I know when I saw Nike come to Washington, that's how I knew, right? Because nobody's going in that fucking store.
I haven't seen it yet.
No, they don't. That's just one of those things that's like, it's a marketing thing. Like, this is a place. It has to be a flagship. It has, like, you have to be in Manhattan. That's just a thing that you have to do.
It's a loss leader.
Yes. That's why it's there. Yes. No one fucking goes into that store. Yes. That's why Foot Locker's not there anymore because we wasn't making no money when I was fucked. So listen, the point is that is what that city is representative of. And you folks are, a young couple that wanted to start this business, build a legacy for your family, and to see other folks not obviously have as many challenges, which we don't want people to have other problems too, but it's like, why don't you want to support us?
That was a huge thing for us, right? Like, I want every store in Hoboken to succeed.
Yeah.
I want every store in the state to succeed.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a cap of 6, I don't even think that's right. I think there should be more businesses in Hoboken because there will probably be enough people to support more businesses.
Yes, it's very densely populated.
We'll compete with anyone. I'm confident in our business plan. But I think that, like, it's just gotten to the point where I feel like, I don't know. There needs to be a lot of change. The process that Hoboken went through, like, they invited us to come and start this business, right? Like, they opened up this application process and said, come and do this with us.
I was in the meeting where they complimented how excited they were to have you.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Right. And I just feel like the rule changes that they put into place after we already started just completely ignore the reality of what that city is. And they made it so impossible for us to just continue on. I shouldn't really say it's the city because yes, they changed the laws on us, but the majority of the council agreed that we should be grandfathered. Same with the other applicants.
Yeah, I think that would have been the right thing to
And
do.
like that's why like Village, like Al Harrington's spot, I have no ill will towards them whatsoever. I want them to succeed.
Right.
But they are in the same situation as us, and yet they did not get sued. And the people that sued us are trying to downplay that. They've been like ignoring it.
Why did they sue you guys and not everybody else who was in this violation?
Great question. Because the person that had the money to sue us and had the funds and the time had a kid at the school that we were in close proximity to. That kid is no longer there. So they started the litigation against us, and that kid, I guess, graduated. So even though that happened relatively early on in the process, actually, I think she sued us after he had already left.
So there is one mom of a school.
Yeah.
So it's middle school, high school?
Middle school, yeah.
Okay, so middle school. So he was in
Private.
8th grade,
Private
right?
middle school, yeah.
Private middle school. He graduates.
Yeah.
One mom in a whole school that probably has thousands, took her private money
Yes.
to just sue two random regular folks.
Yeah, I mean,
trying
I
to start a
think-
business
The issue, I think,
because she was mad.
yeah, I mean, there were other people behind her, but
People with money do crazy shit. Stop
Yes.
calling me fucking rich. I would never do no dumb shit like that. I don't have enough money to do no dumb shit like that.
different.
I'm just not throwing my money away.
If you work for the money, you're rich. If your money just works,
for
it's
you.
wealthy.
I did
That's
a
wild.
Zestimate on this person's home. It was a $3.5 million home.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know how accurate that is, but you got to assume it's at least close. So if you have that kind of money, you know, you can throw it around in something like this. And I don't think it was anything personal against us, other than the fact that we were located where we were located.
Okay.
I think it really was more against the city because they have these personal vendettas against some of the other politicians that we have nothing to do with. But it is ridiculous that this person used as much of their resources and time to chase a small business and
Yes,
crush
that's
us.
crazy.
When there was
crazy.
another, even in light of the fact that there were other businesses that were in the same situation and they ignored them, and we tried to settle twice, and were rejected twice, and not for money. Like we didn't offer them money. We offered them concessions around our business.
Right.
We won't have delivery when kids are let out or coming to school. We'll even report to you and your fake company that you just made about what we're doing. We'll do extra reports to the county. Like all these things. We even said we do a joint press release saying we support each other. And we're going to find a compromise and make this happen. And they said no, both times. Now she's running for council, goes up to the council debate and says, I'm the candidate for compromise. That is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, you can't be the candidate for compromise while you're actively suing someone.
No.
That's trying to
wish more-
compromise with you.
I wish more people were concerned about history because I really wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of history like that. That's a great press release. Look at us working together. Look at us inviting
Right.
cannabis, and we have responsible operators that are coming to the table with regulatory experience. That's
Yes.
the type of owners and operators you want to have in your city.
The people that have supported us in the council have made clear to us, like, you're exactly what we want. Right?
Exactly
because
what
we're
you
small
need.
business, right? We're smart people. We're passionate about this.
Your wife gave up her career for this.
Yes, and that's
Yep.
the other thing. I hate the fact that how much legal bullshit has been around this because it hasn't given me a chance to let Lauren take the spotlight that she fucking deserves. Because she's a great nurse, the most empathetic person I know. And when she's in the store, like running the show, it's gonna be her community.
Yeah.
So I've had to deal with all this crap. In reality, I just want her to like be doing her thing, which I know she will do. And I can just deal with like the fucking business crap the way I want to do it and not keep dealing with all these legal issues, but it's just one thing after the next. And now we're just advocating. So now she's in the community just getting all mad, which I love, you know, and it's working, but that's not what we want to be doing.
Right. Yeah, definitely not what you signed up for.
Exactly.
We jumped right into the story. Let's give some context.
Yes.
First off, Hoboken is in New Jersey. It's in northern New Jersey. It is right outside of New York. Jersey City is also outside of New York, but this is right on the water of where the Hudson is. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. It's very tiny, and it's
Affluent.
very affluent and densely populated. What would you say the population is?
It's about 60, 65,000.
And it's 1 square mile. So 1 mile that way, 1 mile that way.
right.
Very, very small, bustling bar community. So it would definitely be known as like a party town where you can party hop, bar hop.
Yes.
Affluent, did we say that?
Worth saying it twice. It really is, honestly.
Very affluent, but ironically, it was not always like that.
Yeah.
It was an Puerto Rican, Black, Italian community, working class, and because it's right on the water and it's a waterfront, it's something that got gentrified and transformed. And tell us about what actually happened to you in that city.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was when Hoboken opted in to have cannabis dispensaries, they set up a new process whereby you had to first apply to the Cannabis Review Board, which was a brand new board that the city set up, and then you'd apply to the Planning Board, and then you'd go and get a resolution of support from the City Council, which you needed to get to your annual license with the state. Right? You couldn't get your resolution of support unless you had Cannabis Review Board and Planning Board approval. The thing was, they didn't really set this up right. So when they set up the Cannabis Review Board, it operates exactly like a land use board. You have to have a really robust application. We need to have site control. So we had to have the place, the property. We need to have all of our compliance procedures, same for the state. We need to make sure we're addressing each of the particular things in Hoboken's ordinance for that location. So this was a robust application. This was serious, and this cost us thousands of dollars to just submit. I did all the work myself, the legal work, but actually submitting it took like, I don't know, $10,000 in deposits, something like that.
Yep.
Took us months to do. Took us months to get the bank accounts, the insurance, the lease, 35-page lease, all that. Took a long time just to get that application submitted. And then if we got it submitted, it took 2 months to get the approval because we were on the agenda.
And paid the money.
Right? They carried us a month, so that took a while. In that time, another applicant uptown, connected to the governor of Jersey City, the mayor of Jersey City, applied for a location that was under a condo building, and that caused a huge stir. Had nothing to do with us, absolutely nothing to do with us, but it caused a huge stir. The reaction from the local officials in Hoboken was, we need to change the law. Even though we have several applicants who have already started this process that we just set up, we have to change the law. And so originally the law was you cannot be, at least for our purposes, on the same block frontage as a school, which means you can't be on the same block, corner to corner, same side. They changed it so you can't be within 600 feet of a school in any direction. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So we're obviously not on the same block as a school, but we are within 600 feet of 2 schools. So we'd already gotten Cannabis Review Board application in. We were on the agenda, and we even got approved by that board before the law actually changed. But it changed, I think, 6 days after we had gotten that approval, and we needed to get our planning board application in. That's the only way we could have been protected from the rule changes. That's what the court ultimately determined. I'll get there in a second. But we couldn't get it because it was 6 days, and it's just us. We were both working. We didn't even know if we were going to get Cannabis Review Board approval. Getting planning board application was more professionals, more money, more time that we did not have. So we did not do this ahead of time. We didn't have a team behind us planning this just in case we were successful. So we had to take time to get what we could get in. This whole time, there were a couple council people and one resident chasing us and saying, nope, that's not the law. You had to apply to the planning board before the law changed. And because you didn't, that new law applies and your location is no longer valid. They made that legal challenge to the planning board. We tried to go to apply to it. And the planning board said to us, this looks like a valid argument, so you have to give us something back. Tell us why that's not right. I was in Chicago that day, mind you. This was 2 hours before a planning board meeting when I found this out. And we did get the time, a month, to write a response saying why we should be grandfathered in. The city set up this new process. We did it right. We should get the protection of those rules. And the planning board agreed. They said, yeah, we agree with you. We agree with your legal analysis. Continue on. We went through the rest of the process. They approved us.
Great.
Council gave us their approval.
So you got all the approvals.
Everything we needed. Right?
And your place was built out.
State gave it. Well, so we didn't start building out yet.
Okay.
But the state did give us our annual license that following February. But in between, so we got. Wow. Yes. Yes. So we got the local approvals in September done. Oof. October, I think, sometime around November or October is when we got sued by the resident that had been chasing us the whole time. So she formally filed a lawsuit, very expensive to do, right? It's not a cheap endeavor. And at that point, we knew we were in for a legal battle because litigation is serious. So we had our approvals, but it was all up in the air at that point. When the litigation was kicking off, and right after we got our annual license in February, the city's planning board had changed lawyers. And that delayed our lawsuit by 7 months or something like that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, pushed way out. And as you guys probably know, there is a regulation on the books that says you need to get final inspection within a year of your license, or you're gonna lose your license. The state said you have a year to do this. So we were put in a really difficult fucking position.
Yeah.
Obviously, we expected our approval to be upheld because we followed everything exactly the right way. And the city was telling us, your grandfathered, right? They agreed with what we told them. Several council people were telling us, you're grandfathered. So we had every right to believe, right, this is going to go forward. And not only that, we have to because the state expects us to build this out. So we started the build out, cut back a lot of things because we were just bleeding money on legal fees.
0 investors.
Yeah, we're bootstrapped.
0 investors.
Yes.
Wow.
So this
And
is
in Hoboken.
And in
is
Hoboken, right?
Yeah.
It's affluent.
Look, this is all of our money, right? Like all of our savings went into this.
Your housing fund, your house fund.
The house fund's gone.
Yeah.
That was our wedding money. That was inheritance from my grandmother. That's gone.
Yeah.
Everything else, like the rent, we've been living off of mostly my paycheck. I've done very well in my day job, thank goodness.
Right.
I'm a practicing lawyer, so I do well. But all the money I've gained in the last 2 years in my day job has gone to this. So we've not seen a penny of that. All of it's gone to this. So I'm working really hard. I'm doing really well, but all of it's going to this. So we built out the store, right? Bleeding money on legal fees. We made good arguments, and the court just disagreed. So we unexpectedly had a decision a few weeks ago, late September, that we actually were not invited to the hearing to get that decision. Kind of weird. And the judge read an oral decision vacating our planning board approval. And that was it. So that's where we're at. That's it. And,
Vacating that means like rescinding
we
it.
lost our zoning
Taking it-
approval. Yep.
They gave it to you,
We lost it.
and then they take it back.
That's right. Yep.
They could do that?
That's what the court
I mean,
said.
they could do whatever they want.
That's what the court said.
What am I talking about?
That's what the court said. Yeah.
Holy.
So now we're in this place where we have, a fully built out store. And again, like we had to scale back a lot, but it looks great. It looks brilliant. And
all built out.
and the state came by and inspected it. Yeah, said you guys are good to go. And then we lost our approval. So now we have to either
Crazy. So you're sitting on a built, ready to go dispensary.
Yes.
Like if they gave it to you, you can open, and you had product, you could open tomorrow.
we just have to do the metric training. That's it. With the state.
Yeah.
Which we're told takes 2 days. So
This is a nightmare.
yeah.
This is a nightmare. This is literally like the story of like when someone pours their everything into something and then
Yeah.
doesn't win.
That's
What
literally what's
do you
happening. We're fighting like fucking hell.
Have you sued the town? And I know you.
It's on our radar.
Yeah, it's
If
one
it
of those
doesn't-
things you don't want to do because you're automatically public enemy
Yeah.
number 1 now. But
That would be last resort. I
Yeah.
mean,
I hate when it really comes to that because I want people to just get human.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to this. Listen to this story. Like, let's be for real. And the one woman who took all the time and energy to do that, like,
Yeah.
honestly, you're really not a kind soul. No, like for real,
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm not even on no like you're a, like for real. Think about these are human beings
Yes.
who are trying to embark on this journey, and you're just being a fucking hater for what? Like no reason.
real talk. This person has never spoken to us except at the planning board meeting
oh,
where she came up,
And
to
she would
try
probably find that you're very nice people, and you're very smart.
Thank you. I would hope she would see that, but you know what? I don't know if I'd be able to talk to this person without ripping their head off. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, look, our whole thing has been
hey Tiffany, fuck you.
her too.
I think he's talking about somebody else, but she's not
She's
kind
the same,
either.
but- So Tiffany Fisher is the second ward councilwoman who
Tiffany.
who I will say let story in.
Yes.
It was her responsibility to make sure that zone was zoned or not zoned. She will claim up and down that there was some mischievous things done to the ordinance that she was unaware of, but I have the YouTube videos. It's very clear that she was paying attention and she just didn't notice that Hudson Tavern was in a zone that she didn't want zoned. So it was her mistake.
Okay.
So I do think a lot of this is at least on her shoulders. But the person who sued us, her name is Elizabeth Ortecho. She's running for the 5th Ward. She's not a sitting council person now, but she's running for a seat based off of this lawsuit.
So this is just a double win for her.
Well, I don't think she's going to win her election,
Oh, well, that's good.
but she's trying to ride that wave.
Oh,
80% of Hoboken said they wanted it.
So here's the
Why
thing.
is she trying to run on this?
better yet, has she been on Washington Street?
I gotta say, like, I have to assume there's a bubble that she lives in that we just don't, right? Because she's talking to someone, and someone's agreeing with this. But since everything came out, since the court rendered its decision against us, we've been extremely loud about this situation online, in person, Reddit, Instagram, and the message is getting out. Media's picking it up. And the one thing that's clear to us, at least, is that this was not a popular decision. and she should not have done this. And I think it's starting to become really apparent. Cannabis is not even an issue on her website for her candidacy. It's not even on there. She's got all these issues that she wants to address as a candidate, but cannabis is not on there.
But it's the one she's suing you for.
Yes. And when she talks about what she did setting up this fake entity to come and sue us, sometimes she doesn't even mention cannabis. She just says it was an issue that we wanted to address. It's nuts. And then goes to this council debate the other day and starts talking about I'm the candidate for compromise. That's Hoboken right now.
What the fuck is happening?
Nah, it's dirty.
Hoboken, you have to stop. I love that city so much. I'm ashamed that this is happening. I really am. And when I go places and I see the representatives go and like speak on panels and stuff and try to give advice about all these things in municipalities, and I just look at them like, you guys are being very hypocritical, and just say that you don't want it. I mean, at this point, they need to let you operate because you spent your fucking life savings there.
Yes. I think I've got a plan. I say we expose her, sell her your dispensary. I bet she buys it. I bet she buys it. This shit isn't about anti-weed. It's that you found the lick. You found the lick, and she didn't, and she mad. She hating, and that's what it is. You know, it's always about money.
It could be. Honestly.
It's always about money.
We never offered her money because I thought there's no way that's what she wants, and if it is, we'd blast her for it.
Listen,
right? I would not be quiet about that.
Listen, things become legal or okay when you're getting a cut of it.
That's what happened with Story.
Listen, that's what's happening with the federal government. And these schedulization of cannabis. Politicians figured out how to get a cut.
True.
And trust me, they already got it, and that's why you're hearing about it going legal.
They get more with 280E.
Yeah.
You know?
Shout out to my homegirl, Nancy Pelosi. Always using the undercover info to get that bread. I ain't mad at you.
She gets some money up. She does. She really does.
She get that money.
Gotta respect it.
Yeah.
But that's the situation right now in Hoboken.
This is crazy.
So right now, our options are to try and stay the decision and appeal it. So we'll try and appeal it. Stay basically means the decision's been paused. So if it never happened while we appeal, that would have let us open pretty much immediately.
Okay.
Because we're done, and we would get the state's approval to do the metric training.
He using the Aaron Hernandez.
What do you mean?
Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
Because he appealed his prison sentence.
Yeah.
And then killed himself.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what allowed his wife to get his pension plan from the NFL. Yeah, because it was on appeal, the decision that isn't fully in, which means that in the time of his death, she is able to collect his pension. If the verdict was in, she couldn't collect.
Got you.
Yeah, we'll call it the Aaron Hernandez,
Yeah, just don't kill.
Please
don't self-transition, but yeah.
That is what we're doing. Getting the stay is not guaranteed, though. We have to make an argument. I just got a draft again from our lawyers. I've been working on that pretty much every night this week. But it's not a guarantee we will get that. And if we don't get the stay, we're not going to continue the appeal because it's too expensive. We don't have the money and time. The other alternative is getting them to change the law back or do something.
Yeah.
Because at least it's clear the people are upset, and this is the council. They have to react to the people.
Yes.
So this is their job, right? So as long as we get the word out, get through the election on November 7th, and then I think we'll come back to the table with the people who are at least willing to talk with us and find a compromise.
Listen, we're going to do this the Trenton Weedman way. We selling weed out this motherfucker either way. All right?
You're not the first person to say that.
And we just going to eat the fine. Every time y'all come in, we're going to eat the fine, and we just going to sell this shit anyway.
I mean,
and we got the loud packs, the shit you legally can't get. No.
I mean, but it's true. Every bodega in there is selling. Every bodega.
Oh,
I mean, so many of them.
Every smoke shop.
Yeah, so many of them are selling. And it's like, what are we really talking about here?
Why did we try to do it the right way?
That's true.
It becomes that realistically, it becomes all right, we tried to do it the right way, the legal way, the very expensive way.
Yep.
And we're paying a penalty for it when you can readily get the shit anywhere.
Yes.
Yep.
Right? Every bodega, every smoke shop.
Yes.
Damn sure at the clubs. Right. Get a lot more than weed at the club. But it's like, we tried to do it the right way. No. You can't do it the right way.
That's exactly.
See? Y'all killing my man here. And
Max,
as y'all can probably see, we understand that fight. It's mad expensive building this shit out. As y'all can see, we in an active construction zone. We told y'all we're going to bring y'all through the process with us. You see the framing up. We really in here. So, you know what I mean?
Looks
Feel
good
free
in
to
here.
drive by 36 Congress and see the construction is actively going. Had my crew, Coastal Security up in here putting in the lines.
Shout him out. Yes.
Yeah, shout out Coastal. Shout out to Brian.
Matt.
Getting us right.
Top flight.
So when y'all try to rob us, we gonna know. We gonna see you motherfuckers. But yeah, so that's some fuck shit.
Yeah, man, it's been a process.
I am so sad.
It's tough, man. I think there's a light at the end of this tunnel. I really do. I think we got the support from the people.
I hope so.
I think we got support from at least the majority of the council right now. So there could be some solution for us. But I mean, we're not going to shut up about this. At the very minimum, like, people are going down with us, whether it's on the council or I hate to say it, but I don't think we're going to let Al Harrington open if they don't find a solution for us. Like, we're not going to shut up about that because I don't know if I mentioned it. Like, there was another school within 600 feet of, there's another dispensary within 600 feet of a school, and they are in the same situation as us. They did not apply to the planning board before those rules changed. So technically, they are in the same situation. They just didn't get sued. But as far as we can tell, like, I think the city gave them a stop order.
Did she just have it out for you?
She claimed it was this issue. But yeah, it was just us. It was just us.
Fuck you, lady. Nah, y'all be wanting me to be nice, man. Like, some people are just fucked up.
Yeah, I feel honestly, you know.
Yo, we gonna
not-
catch pictures of her smoking. That's what
You know,
private
it's not
investigators.
often that I'm speechless. I just don't know what, like.
And it's crazy because all we're asking for is compromise. Like, we did not. So I proposed some rules to the council. I redrafted them, and I did not just cut that 600 feet down to 200 feet. Right? Like, I get it. There are people who are upset about this. It's like 6 people, but there's people.
Yeah.
And the couple council people are going to go ahead and legislate for those people.
Yeah.
Then we got to address it. And so I came up, Lauren and I talked about this. She's always my sounding board for this crap, with some reasonable proposals. If we were within 600 feet of a school, you got to limit your delivery hours, right? Not during school opening and closing. You got to do an additional report to the Cannabis Review Board if you ever have an incident with a minor. If you're within 300 feet, you got to do a heightened incident report to the police. You got to try and reach out to the parents if you ever get a hold of a kid in your store. And if you're within 100 feet, you got to have like some sign restrictions. Like, we really put some thought into this.
Yeah.
The idea is Hoboken is dense.
Yes.
Dense. I think last time I checked, there's 146 liquor licenses in Hoboken, which is with the
What?
most per capita liquor licenses, not bars. So you
That's
got restaurants,
wild.
stores,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
bars.
What?
Most in the country.
Per capita.
Yeah. And they have a distance requirement for bars, but they've all been grandfathered. All the licenses are grandfathered.
Of course.
So it's like you cannot say you cannot be within 600 feet of a school because there's schools everywhere. The city's dense. It's not realistic.
And there's liquor everywhere, apparently.
It's just not realistic for a city like this. And so I've tried to like find some compromise because I just don't believe that this is the issue. There's a head shop and a liquor store right across the street from these schools. That, like, if you're in a classroom, you look out the window, you can see the bongs. Dead ass. So, like, this can't be the problem.
That can't be the problem, yeah.
So I just refuse to believe. And now that the store's done, like, people have been coming to see it too. And they see, like, some people still in Hoboken have not seen a dispensary. For real.
Right.
So now they see it and they're like, this is a dispensary, this is beautiful. It's like, shit, because it's just a store, Like, it's just a store. These products are small, right? Like, it's all secure.
Yep.
They see the frosted glass you can't even see in, but it looks nice.
Yep.
So it's like, I at least hope that they're starting to think, like, what were we so concerned about? Because we have all the security in place. There are other businesses on Washington Street that are higher security risk than us. Banks, pharmacies, jewelry stores. Those are all security risks.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
they don't have the measures we have to mitigate that risk. And the same with exposure to kids, right? Like, we do not let kids even see into our store. You can't smell anything from our store, right? We're not going to, like, advertise to kids or even
Can't
outside
even
our
walk
store.
into the store.
Right.
That's right.
But a kid can walk into a liquor store
Hell yeah, they can.
and a pharmacy.
And a pharmacy.
So I think it's just like pointing those things out and then adding these things on top. I just refuse to believe there isn't a compromise here.
And those businesses also don't do anything for the community.
Nothing.
Whether
Nothing.
that's part of what the city deems, like in Jersey City, it's a requirement. Whether that's what the city deems or even just your personal mission, the
Yes.
reality is that those businesses, liquor stores, pharmacies, bars,
Yes.
they don't contribute to
They
the
don't do
community.
shit. And that's actually one of the biggest shames about going through this whole process is we've had to keep advocating to just exist. And we've not been able to talk about the very particular things that we want to do in our community impact plan, right? You guys have one too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we have very particular things that we care a lot about as people.
Yeah.
I'm huge on mentoring. I want to get mentoring to kids that can't afford it in Hoboken. We are huge on senior citizens. Lauren loves hanging out with seniors. And so we have all these programs that have nothing to do with cannabis that are going to dedicate our time and money to people that we think can use it best in Hoboken. And we have not even had a chance to talk to anyone about that because we've been talking about this crap.
Yeah. And nobody smoke more regularly than senior citizens. Real talk.
real.
These old motherfuckers
Hell
be
yeah.
smoking.
They love edibles too.
It's a reason why Florida got the strongest medical market in the
That's a
country.
fact.
Them old motherfuckers be smoking.
Yeah, that's the best part. Like that cannabis is going to be able to do so much good, right? Your
Yeah.
personal missions, things that are important to you guys, you now get to use this, abundance of cash flow that maybe these types of businesses will
Yes.
bring to fruition, but that you can pour back into the
Yes.
community.
And things we actually care about.
Yes,
this
that's
is-
so
it's not-
dope.
It's not bullshit, right? Like,
Right.
like we had to make the plan.
Yeah.
We had to have one for our license, but it's like, all right, well then let's do things we actually think are good things to do and things we would actually like to spend our time doing. That's, I can't wait to actually contribute to some of that stuff. If we can actually get to fucking opening.
There you go. Well, also with this, shout out to Con Bud, shout out to Turp
Yes.
Boys, who went through a somewhat similar fight
Everybody's open now.
in New York and actually
I just
prevailed and got through that.
open. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
saw
it just
that.
opened 2 or 3 days ago. But yeah, shout out to them because this cannabis shit is real. And even when you have fully built out your shit and think you're ready to open, some stupid shit can happen and take that shit away.
Sweep it out.
And they're an example of that in New York, and then obviously you guys now
Yep.
here in Jersey. So you just got to keep fighting.
That's right. That's what we'll keep doing.
Listen, Hoboken, please do the right thing. I'm serious. This stuff like litigation and things like that, like people are human.
Yeah.
Kindness should exist. People are trying to change their lives and chase something. Support them. Support us. This like going to court and all that. Nobody wants to do that in a city they love.
Yes.
Nobody wants to sit across people nobody wants to do that shit. Let's just talk like human to human and make this thing happen and let these guys do the right thing in the community. Y'all didn't want us to be there. That was a bad move because we about to bring Jersey City that money, right, Corey?
Big fact.
But you have Max and Lauren, and they're wonderful people, and their dispensary is beautiful.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see the light at the end of this tunnel. I
Yeah.
think that this is gonna work out.
I hope
do.
it's there. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Just gotta keep fighting. So we'll keep doing it.
Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah. Thanks for
Thank
having
you
me.
for
Appreciate you
coming
coming.
on the show.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Until next time, peace.
Peace.
Woo!
Thanks, guys. Really